Hi lovely viewers. Before we begin, tap that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss part 3 of this unforgettable love story. They found their way back to each other, but not everyone is ready to welcome their happiness. Now, enjoy. As Jisoo parked in front of the hotel he had booked earlier, his hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. He turned to glance at Amma, but she avoided his gaze. His heart ached. She was so close, yet felt so distant. The twins, oblivious to the tension, bounced excitedly as he led them to their room. Their small feet patted across the plush carpet as they ran toward the bed, giggling as they jumped onto the soft mattress. Their laughter filled the room, a sound so pure, it made Jisoo's chest tighten. He lingered by the door, watching them, watching her. Just then, the twins nudged Amma, their little hands tugging at her dress. They didn't have to say anything. She already knew. They were hungry. Before Amma could even think of a response, Jisoo spoke up. "I'll handle it." His voice was quiet, almost fragile. Without waiting for an answer, he turned and left. Amma let out a slow breath, rubbing her temples. This was too much, too fast. 15 minutes later, Jisoo returned, carrying more than just food. The hotel staff trailed behind him, arms full of takeout bags, snacks, and drinks. He had bought everything, far more than they needed. The twins' eyes lit up. "Thank you, Uncle," one of them chirped, grinning up at him. "Uncle." Jisoo forced a smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You're welcome." His voice almost broke. As the kids happily dug into their food, Amma saw the way Jisoo's fingers trembled at his sides, how his Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed down his emotions. He wasn't okay. Her heart clenched. "Jisoo," she started. Just then, he exhaled sharply, shaking his head as if to clear his thoughts. He turned to leave. "Wait," Amma whispered, standing up quickly. She walked him to the door, nerves clawing at her stomach. She knew what was coming. Just as he reached for the handle, he hesitated. "Amma." His voice was low, strained. "Why?" She stiffened. "Not here, Jisoo. The kids are here." Silence. For a moment, he didn't move. Then, with a slow nod, he stepped out. Amma let the door close and pressed her forehead against it. She had done what she felt was right, but it hurt her. Jisoo made sure Amma and the twins were settled before he left. He had arranged everything, the best suite in the hotel, a warm meal, and someone he trusted to take care of them. The hotel belonged to his friend, someone who owed him a favor, and Jisoo had personally ensured they were in good hands before stepping away. As soon as he was gone, the twins fell asleep, exhausted from the long trip. But Amma, she couldn't sleep. Too many thoughts raced through her mind. She needed answers. She stepped out into the quiet hotel hallway and made the call. Her boss, Mrs. Evelyn Hart, picked up after a few rings. "Amma? What's wrong?" Amma swallowed. "Nothing, ma'am. I wanted to ask about the contract." "Who gave it to us?" Mrs. Hart didn't hesitate. "Jisoo's manager. He was the one who reached out to us directly." "I assumed you'd spoken to him in the Zoom meetings?" Amma gripped her phone tighter. So Jisoo's company had offered them this deal? But Jisoo himself had never appeared in any of the calls. It had always been his manager. He hadn't known it was her who would be coming to represent her company. Fate had brought them here. "Amma," Mrs. Hart continued, her tone gentle, "I sent you because I trust you, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for your boys to see their father's homeland. You've worked hard for this, and I knew you'd do an amazing job." Amma closed her eyes. She had taken this job for the promotion, for her career, and for her twins who had grown up knowing they looked different but had never asked why. Because they knew the question hurt her, and not wanting to see her always sad, they stopped asking. Now, the truth was staring her in the face. And so was he. She hung up the phone, staring out at the city lights of Seoul. This was not how she expected things to go. The next morning, Jisoo arrived early. By then, he had already arranged for a nanny to take care of the twins while Amma worked. He didn't want them to feel alone in a new country, so he made sure to get them something special, one of his own video games. The moment he handed it to them, their faces lit up. "You made this?" Jiho gasped. Jisoo chuckled. "I did." Juwon's eyes widened. "That's so cool. Can we learn how to make games too?" Jisoo smiled. "Of course." The boys were fascinated, asking question after question. "How do you do it? Is this your job? What do we press to make it jump?" Jisoo laughed, answering every question patiently. Then, as they watched him closely, Jiho suddenly blurted out, "You look like us." Amma froze. Jisoo's smile faltered. Juwon nodded. "Yeah, your hair is soft like ours, but different from Mom's." Juwon reached out and touched Jisoo's hair, comparing it to his own. Back home, they had always known they looked different from other kids. But here, for the first time, they saw people who looked like them. "Who are you?" Jiho finally asked. Amma's heart pounded. She cut in quickly, her voice firm but gentle. "All right, boys. Be good, okay?" The twins pouted but listened. Jisoo didn't push further. Not yet. The ride to his company was tense. Amma stared out of the window, her hands clenched in her lap. Jisoo was gripping the steering wheel tightly, his jaw clenched. He had so many questions, but he didn't want to ask them in front of the children. Amma knew it too. She braced herself for what was coming. When they arrived, Amma's heart nearly stopped when she saw the building's name, JA Tech. Her chest tightened. JA, Jisoo and Amma. She turned to look at him, but he was already leading the nanny and twins inside. Had he named his company after them? No, that couldn't be. She shook her head and forced herself to focus. She was here to work, not to get lost in the past. Inside the company, Jisoo introduced her to his team in a professional tone. "This is Amma. She and her team will be handling our branding for the international expansion." She met the company's manager, the same man she and her team had been working with over video calls. "Thank you for trusting us," Amma said as she shook his hand. The manager smiled. "Your reputation precedes you. We're lucky to have you." Amma went straight into work mode, presenting her branding strategy. Jisoo watched her closely. She was brilliant, passionate, the same Amma he had once loved. By the time she finished, the room erupted into applause. Jisoo nodded, voice unreadable. Impressive, but inside, his emotions were a storm. When lunch came, Jisoo couldn't wait anymore. He grabbed Amma's wrist before she could leave. "Let's get something for the kids," he said, his voice low. Amma hesitated, but she knew she had no choice. She followed him out. He took her to the small shop where she used to work part-time back in university. The moment she stepped inside, memories rushed back. She used to serve coffee here. She used to study during her breaks. It had been her safe place. "Amma?" An elderly man stood behind the counter, his eyes wide with recognition. Amma's heart skipped a beat. "Mr. Han." The old shop owner broke into a wide smile. "It's been years. Look at you." He turned to Jisoo and chuckled. "You used to come here all the time, waiting for her to finish work." Amma's breath hitched. Jisoo said nothing. Mr. Han's expression softened. "Jisoo searched for you, you know. He came here often, asking about you." Amma's chest tightened. She looked away. The past was rushing back too fast. They talked for a while, catching up, before heading back to the company. Back at the office, the twins were laughing, enjoying their snacks. Amma stopped at the door, watching in surprise. They had already gotten used to Jisoo. They were chatting with him, completely at ease. Even the staff, who had been gossiping earlier, kept their opinions to themselves. They knew their boss, and they knew better than to start trouble with him. Jisoo didn't tolerate nonsense, and always had this serious attitude, especially at work. Amma exhaled slowly, heart still heavy. This was only the beginning. After seeing the kids and making sure they were okay, Jisoo took Amma's hand, leading her toward a quieter place. There was something in his eyes, something heavy, something that made Amma's chest tighten. She didn't resist. She followed him silently to a nearby garden, a secluded spot where only the rustling leaves and distant city sounds could be heard. They sat on a bench, side by side, but neither spoke. It was as if one was waiting for the other to break the silence. Then, Jisoo finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but the pain behind it was undeniable. "Why, Amma?" Amma exhaled shakily, looking down at her hands. After a long pause, she whispered, "I had to. I couldn't bear to see that I was the reason you got separated from your family. I was thinking of our future, about everything that could go wrong because of family matters." Jisoo's jaw tightened. Amma hesitated, then continued, "I know you're angry. I know you're hurt because I never told you about Jiwon and Jiho. But I just couldn't." Her voice cracked. "I found out a few months after I left. At first my dad was furious, but later he accepted it. He didn't want to lose me to depression because I was dealing with that. Together with him and my younger brother, we decided I would keep them, and that was the best decision of my life." Jisoo clenched his fists, his breath unsteady. "It was hard back then in Ghana," Amma continued, her voice laced with emotion. "Especially because of their looks. People stared. But my family stood by me, and that was all that mattered. Until one of my dad's old company business partners stepped in. She had her main company in the States, so I started doing small gigs for her while improving myself. Eventually, she helped us relocate, and I took over managing one of her branches." She swallowed hard. "I never thought I'd see you again, Jisoo, not like this." Jisoo's breath hitched. His gaze darkened, and before he could stop it, a single tear escaped. "Amma, you shattered me." Amma's hands trembled. "It was painful trying to live without you." Jisoo's voice was heavy, filled with raw emotion. "You should have believed in me. You should have trusted that I would have made things work. His hands shook as he spoke. I missed 8 years of my children's lives, Amma. 8 years. And they don't even know who I am. Amma's heart twisted. Jisoo ran a frustrated hand through his hair. I searched for you. Amma's breath caught. I went to your aunt's place, the one who sponsored your education, but she was out of the country. I kept checking in until I found out she was sick and unreachable. And we were actually planning to visit your people before you left. I was just confused. His voice turned bitter. I paid people to find you. I searched online, but there was nothing useful they could come up with. No one could tell me where you were. His voice broke slightly. Eventually, I stopped looking because it was killing me. Amma lowered her head, guilt stabbing through her. Jisoo exhaled sharply. I poured my everything into work. My company grew. But nothing filled the emptiness. He turned to her now, his eyes filled with 8 years of heartbreak. You should have stayed, Amma. Amma bit her lip, tears blurring her vision. She reached for his hands, gripping them tightly. I'm sorry, Jisoo. If I hurt you this badly, I'm so sorry. I was just afraid. I couldn't stand the rejection. Jisoo held her hands tighter. His voice was raw. Juwon and Jiho don't know their father, Amma. She nodded. It's not too late. We can fix this. Their eyes locked. Emotions surged between them. Jisoo moved before he could stop himself. He pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her. Then, he kissed her. It was deep, desperate, filled with pain and longing. Amma gasped, but she didn't pull away. For a moment, they let themselves drown in the feelings they had suppressed for so many years. When they finally pulled apart, their foreheads touched, their breaths uneven. Jisoo exhaled shakily. Let me bond with them, Amma nodded. We'll schedule a day, but first, I need to tell them. Jisoo agreed, and they sat together, talking for hours. He told her about his company, how he turned it into one of the top gaming firms in Korea. She asked him why he gave their sons Korean names instead of Ghanaian ones. Amma hesitated before answering. Because even after everything, I never stopped thinking about you, and they belong here. Jisoo clenched his jaw, his eyes softening. When she asked about his love life, he scoffed. I never dated seriously, he admitted. It was my way of punishing my parents for forcing you away. I didn't want to commit to anyone. Amma's heart ached. Jisoo, I thought leaving would make things better. But it only made things worse. He didn't reply, but his silence said everything. That night, after putting the boys to bed, Amma sat beside them. She gently shook Juwon awake. Jiho stirred beside him. Mom? Juwon mumbled sleepily. Amma hesitated, stroking his hair. Baby, wake up. I need to talk to you both. Jiho rubbed his eyes, yawning. What's wrong, Mom? She smiled softly. Nothing's wrong. I just need to tell you something important. The boys blinked at her, suddenly more awake. Amma took a deep breath. Remember how you both always asked about your father? Their eyes widened. You know him? Juwon asked. Amma nodded, her heart pounding. Yes, babies. You've already met him. Silence. Jiho gasped. Wait, Uncle Jisoo. Juwon's jaw dropped. He's our dad? Amma nodded, tears welling up. Juwon sat up straight. Mama, you should have told us sooner. Jiho grinned. He's so cool. He makes games. Our dad is awesome. Amma let out a choked laugh, wiping her tears. Juwon hesitated, his smile fading. But does he want us? Amma cupped his cheek. Oh, baby, he loves you more than anything. The twins exchanged glances. Then, without warning, they leaped into her arms, hugging her tight. We want to see him again. Amma laughed, hugging them back. You will. Tomorrow. The next day, Jisoo arrived early, waiting anxiously. His heart pounded as the boys stepped out. Then, without hesitation, Juwon and Jiho ran straight into his arms. For the first time in 8 years, Jisoo held his sons. Tears blurred his vision. My boys. Juwon and Jiho grinned up at him. Dad. Jisoo's chest tightened. For the first time in years, he felt whole again. He spent the rest of that day together, just the four of them. No more tears, no more awkwardness. They shared stories, cracked jokes, ran around in the park, and took so many pictures that Jisoo's phone memory nearly filled up. The twins clung to him like they had known him their whole lives. And in a way, they had. Just without the physical presence. But now that he was here, they didn't want to let him go. Jisoo couldn't take his eyes off Amma the entire day. Watching her laugh, seeing how gentle she was with the kids, how natural everything felt. That night, after the twins fell asleep, he turned to her in the quiet of the hotel room. I know this is sudden, he said, but I want you to move in with me, just until you're done with your work in South Korea. The kids need you. I need you. I want us close. No more distance. It took her a second to respond, but she saw it in his eyes. He meant every word. She nodded slowly. All right, Let's try. Moving in brought a new kind of closeness. They were no longer walking on eggshells or hiding from their past. They cooked together, played with the kids on lazy afternoons, watched old movies, and stayed up talking until 3 a.m. Healing came quietly, through little touches, soft laughter, shared silences. And bit by bit, the pieces of what they once were began falling back into place. One evening, Jisoo walked into the living room as Amma was working on a business deal on her laptop. "There's an event this weekend," he said, "an event for just CEOs and their partners. I want you to come with me." She looked up. "Are you sure?" "I want the world to see you with me," he said, "not just as the mother of my kids, but as the woman I love." Amma was quiet for a while, her eyes soft. Then she smiled. "Okay." The night of the event, she wore a black satin dress that hugged her figure perfectly. Her hair was styled straight and sleek, her makeup soft and elegant. When she walked down the stairs, Jisoo forgot how to breathe for a moment. He didn't say anything, just kissed her hand, and they walked out like a real couple. At the event, the room was filled with powerful people, but Jisoo didn't care. He stayed by her side the whole night, introducing her with pride, his eyes never straying. She carried herself with such grace that people whispered even after she passed. He watched her the entire night like she was a dream come true. They danced, laughed, and drank wine. And when they returned home, it was like all the feelings they had held in for so long came rushing out. He kissed her slowly, like he had all the time in the world. Their clothes fell to the floor piece by piece, and they made love like they were finding each other for the first time. No pain, no history, just two people choosing each other again. The next morning, the headlines hit. Tech billionaire Jisoo Kang seen with mystery woman, spotted at exclusive CEO dinner. Could this be his hidden family? Jisoo's soft side loving twins? The blogs had a field day, and it didn't take long before the news reached his family. His mother was the first to see it. She stared at her tablet for a long time. Her son was smiling, not just smiling, but glowing. She hadn't seen that expression on his face in years. He was holding Amma's hand in one picture, laughing in another, and in the background, their twins with the nanny. She didn't call anyone. She simply walked into the study and handed the tablet to her husband. He looked at it. His jaw tightened. "She's back," he said. "I know," she replied softly. "She should have stayed gone." "She's the reason he's smiling again," she said. "We've lost him for so long. Do you really want to keep pushing him away? He's a Kang. We have standards." "No," she said. "He's a man, and he's in love. We should be happy he came back to us at all." But his face was hard. "I won't accept her." She didn't argue, just walked out, leaving him to his silence. Meanwhile, somewhere across town, Amma was curled beside Jisoo on the couch, unaware of the war about to rise again. He kissed her temple, held her hand, and looked down at the twins as they played with toys on the floor. Whatever came next, they were ready. Because this time, they were together,